How has society produced the empty self? We've become a society that is fueled by self affirmation. For example, I can scroll through Facebook right now and probably see 3 or 4 posts that are a direct result of self seeking motives, selfies, or those posts about how well do you know me? Like, what's my favorite color? When's my birthday? Or what's your first memory with me? Those are all things that are trying to get people to tell us something to validate us, to make us feel better about ourselves because we're feeling down. For example, I went through the other day and there's this post and it's a meme. So someone's like generated it and now other people are sharing it. And it just says, I'm so ugly. I guess that's why no one's going to comment on this post. I just don't understand those things. This type of behavior actually encourages narcissism. And then, ironically enough, I can see probably 2 to 3 articles or sponsored ads on Facebook about how to spot narcissistic behavior or a narcissist in your own life. I find that entertaining, uh, which is also ironic. J.P. Moreland talks in chapter 4 about the art of developing an interior life and how self used to be defined in terms of virtue and morality. And now self is defined in external factors. How we project ourselves is who we are now. An example of this is the surge of everyday people on the quest for celebrity status, once again on social media, Instagram, Facebook, platforms, and YouTube. We've become shallow, and the need to develop an inner life has taken a backseat to our need to be validated by others, as I said before. Um, One example I think that I can kind of loosely use here is I've been an addict for most of my life and I've been sober for 6 months and I've worked several 12-step programs and like in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is a great program. You go in and you're like, hi, my name is Abby and I'm an alcoholic. Okay, so I'm defining myself based on external factors. In comparison, there is a group called Celebrate Recovery that I've just recently started leading in my own church. And you start out, your introduction goes, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ who struggles with chemical dependence or alcoholism. And my name is Abby. So I'm going ahead and I'm defining myself based on my internal virtues and morality rather than external factors such as my chemical dependence or my alcoholism. We've become passive. Moreland states that passive people do not have lives of their own. They must live vicariously through others. An example is YouTube channels that are dedicated to video and kids playing video games or reaction videos of people watching other videos. Society has become so mindless and not intelligent that we have to watch other people watching stuff. And I really don't understand what purpose or skill this even serves. How does the empty self threaten the mission of the church? As I stated in my discussion board, the empty self threatens the mission of the church in a variety of ways. Many churches have allowed the gospel of Jesus Christ to take a backseat to the full concert style worship services, leaving only minutes to the sermon. And yes, I like to sing to Jesus, but I want to know, is that always what we're doing? Sorry about that. Are we stimulating our senses with light shows and fog machines and a strong stage presence? I personally will take Wherever He Leads, I'll Go over any of that any day, because in that song, I'm singing the truth. Wherever He leads me is where I'm going to go. I'm not saying that we can't praise in a contemporary style. I'm just asking if we're pleasing God or we're pleasing ourselves. How can the local church minister to people who exhibit these qualities? We can encourage people to admit the problem and be honest about it. We can choose to be different even when it's tough. Like, I get criticized all the time because the way I live my life now is a direct turnaround from the way that I used to live my life. And people notice that and they say stuff about it all the time. So I'm also glad I'm in this class because I'm trying to develop skills that, can tell somebody why I believe the things that I believe now. We can change our routines, exercise the body, which in turn will make us want to exercise our mind. It'll motivate us to learn. We can develop patience and endurance. You read, pray, and meditate. Fasting is actually a really great developer of discipline, because when we fast from something, it automatically allows us to realize how close we are to God, because we're not feeling that need for instant gratification. We can expand our vocabulary. Like right now, in writing the outline for this video, I would go and I would Google synonyms for words that I was using repetitively. And we can set some intellectual goals. School for me right now is an intellectual goal. I may not have known what I was getting myself into all the way when I signed up for 5 courses, and this one being one of the biggest ones. But I'm enjoying it, and it is definitely taking dedication and perseverance. I was addicted to drugs for 20 years. I lived in my mind, but I only fed it negative things. I didn't attempt to cultivate any type of wisdom. I constantly engaged increasingly egregious behavior, and the effects of that behavior and those thoughts were regularly exhibited in my speech or communication with others. Basically, I just wasn't intelligent anymore. And I used to be a long time ago. um, First leaders can inspire people to seek the truth, and to be honest, and to be ambitious, to help cultivate the virtues of faith and hope in God. These virtues help us build confidence in the truth. Like I said before, I've been leading the Celebrate Recovery at my church for a few weeks now, and I feel it really helps people become more willing to step out of their comfort zones. It's not easy to go into a group of your peers, especially ones that you attend church with, and admit that your life is unmanageable in a variety of ways. But in my opinion, since I've done so many 12-step programs, it's at least a great starting point for casting out the empty self by glaring right back at it, and seeing where it's infiltrated our lives and attacking it head on, and finally negating its grip on our lives. And then from there, we can build our spiritual disciplines and become increasingly wealthy when it comes to our knowledge of both God and of ourselves.